Hey guys, so I'm here with my sniffly little piggy Kyra, and that's because today, well not today, but just in general, it has been probably about a month and a half now since we adopted this little lady, and it really has been the most perfect, wonderful month and a bit, because we love you, don't we, girl? Yes we do. We love you, and you're the goodest girl. She really is the best. We feel so completely lucky to have found her. And I don't think either me or Dan can believe how quickly she's just settled into our lives. So I figured this will be a really good time to, and it's a little bit different from my usual stuff, but to make a little video talking about our experiences going through like the adoption process with her, how we found Kyra. Oh, she's a little snorty piggy. She snorts so much and makes these adorable little piggy noises, and I love her for it. And just talk a little bit about, like, you know, some advice if you're looking to adopt a dog, why adopting a dog is so great, and how I thoroughly recommend it. And, you alright, babe? She's just had some biscuits, so she's a little bit like... So the first thing is that we probably decided we wanted to finally get a dog probably about a year ago. So this all started way back. At first, Dan was a little bit unsure about whether he wanted a dog or not, but the more he thought about it, and the more I showed him cute pictures of doggos, the more he was convinced. And it was probably about a year ago where he was like, you know what, let's do it, let's get a dog. So we started saving up money, because obviously adopting is expensive, and we wanted to make sure, do you want to get down, babe, are you okay? Mwah. Mwah. And we wanted to make sure we had like a steady enough income between us to be able to look after a dog properly, and fully support it, and give whatever doggo we got the best life possible. Because, you know, they deserve it. In deciding between buying a dog or a puppy or whatever, and adopting, it pretty much wasn't even a question for us. We knew we wanted to adopt straight away, because there are so many dogs out there in shelters who just, you know, they need a good home, they need a good life, and there are so many out there, and we just wanted to make one happy, so it wasn't even a question for us. We didn't really care about breed, we didn't care about age that much, we didn't mind getting a slightly older dog. So Kyra, she's 5, which might be a little older for some people, but we can still get a good, like, you know, probably up to 10 years with her, which is kind of amazing. So why wouldn't we want her? Gorgeous. We also didn't really care about gender or anything like that. We just kind of thought we'd know our dog when we met them, and we cared more about getting a dog with the right personality to fit with our lifestyles, and the right dog that we'd be good for. That was our focus. Gorgeous. Rather than like breed or age or anything like that. Okay. Like I say, dogs can be expensive, so having a budget was pretty essential for us. We like sat down and did the numbers before we even started looking at adoption places. We figured out everything we'd need to pay for up front. So, for example, adoption fees are normally between about £120 and £170 in the UK, depending on what shelter you go to and the age of the dog, things like that. Puppies tend to be a bit more expensive. We'd also need to pay for things like bedding, a new lead, new collar, things like that. This little girl needs a little harness as well for when she goes out on a walk, and things like dog shampoo, and then there's like reoccurring fees as well. I know. Reoccurring fees like food, pet insurance, fleeing and worming treatments, that sort of thing. So this all had to go into our budget, and we had to make sure we can afford not only the initial fees, but the monthly fees after that as well. And then, once we were finally in a good sort of stable position financially, and we knew we were ready to start looking for a dog, we got in touch with quite a few different shelters in the area. So we live in London, so luckily there are a lot of places nearby, and we started filling out quite a lot of applications. We were asked a lot of questions about like our lifestyle, what we did for jobs, where we worked, hey baby, if we had to leave the dog alone, like what our schedules are like, how long a dog would have to be left alone for every day. Luckily, with my job, we don't have to leave Kyra for long at all. So, I mean, like, we can go enjoy a night out, a date night, or whatever, or go out with friends, and she's fine to be left alone for a few hours. But day to day, she doesn't really have to be alone at all, which I think you appreciate, don't you, girl? Because she's quite a cuddly little thing. She likes being around people. Very sociable, aren't you? You are. As long as you're getting cuddles and tummy rubs, you're a happy girl. Yes. Yeah, there was also things like what our home was like. Did we have a garden, a communal garden, no garden? If we lived in a house or a flat. And then it asked about like our preferences of dogs, so like what size we wanted. So that was the thing we did. No, we wanted like a small or medium-sized dog, so that, you know, they'd be able to sit on our lap and I wouldn't get squished. And I'd be able to take them for walks by myself and not have them like drag me away, because I'm only tiny. So that was one thing we said. We said we wanted small or medium, didn't we? Yes. And then we said we had no preference on gender or age or breed or things like that, but we were asked about that as well. In our experience, so like I say, I don't know what it's like in other parts of the country or even in other countries, but here in the part of London we're at, one of the first places we got in touch with was the RSPCA, and I've got to say, they weren't very helpful at all with rehoming. They weren't great. They didn't make it easy to adopt a dog. They had no straightforward rehoming application process. They had a PDF form on their website, but then you either had to print it off and take it into a branch, or you could or you could email it to someone, but they didn't get back to you straight away. They were actually really terrible at replying, and the RSPCA just weren't very good at all with us. I don't know, maybe other people had better experiences, but just the branch near us wasn't ideal. So then we went to visit, we travelled about 2 hours to visit a branch of Dogs Trust, which is kind of on the outskirts of London, and they were really great. They were really helpful, really friendly staff, absolutely lovely. We did an interview with them and an application and stuff, and they said that they didn't have any dogs for us at the moment, which was a shame, but they were like, do get in touch and we might have some dogs in soon that'd be right for you. So we were gonna get back in. Hello. I know, baby. I know. And so we were thinking of getting back in touch with Dogs Trust, but then we got careful. We'd filled out an online form for Battersea, Dogs and Cats Home, and they'd said that they didn't have anything at the time, but then we got an email from them saying, hey, we've got some new dogs in. Hi, baby. Maybe do you want to come in for an interview? So we went in for an interview, we did the full interview with them, and they actually matched us up with 2 potential dogs. One of them I've spoken about briefly before was a little 11-month-old French bulldog, and the other one was this little girl. Yes, it was. Yes, it was you, wasn't it? Is it Kyra? Yes. I'd seen Battersea on, the Paul O'Grady programs before on TV, so I thought because they were, quite big, I didn't really expect much from them. I was like, they're going to be busy, they're going to be kind of money-grabbing, they're probably not going to care that much about rehoming, they'll just, want some donations and stuff. Not true at all. The staff were incredible. They were so nice, so kind. You could tell everyone really, really cared about the animals, and they were really keen to find them good homes, which was nice. I can't remember the name of our, the rehoming assistant who helped us, but she was absolutely amazing and lovely and kind. She was really, really good. And basically we said when we were told about them, we were like, okay, well, we'll meet Kyra and Freddie, the other dog. But because Freddie had a bit of kennel cough, we had to meet Kyra first. And so we were taken up to this room that kind of reminded me of a big school hall. Yes, we met you there, didn't we? Yes. So it was a big kind of hall, and it had some chairs, it had lots of dog toys everywhere. Mwah. Balls for water, didn't it? Yes. Mwah. Licky girl. She's so licky, bless her. Okay, she's now stood up on the desk. Bless her. You okay, baby? Alright, I got you. You have fun there. So like I say, we were up in this room, and me and Dan were left there for 5 minutes while the assistant went to go get Kyra, and she opened the door, and this little angel just bounded in, and oh my god, I swear, we almost immediately fell in love. So from the first moment, Kyra was really cuddly. She was so friendly. She was like, give me tummy rub. She was licking our chins, which she still does today. But like I say, we just kind of loved her little personality immediately. And then once we'd been kind of introduced to her, we were left alone with Kyra for maybe 30, 45 minutes. I don't know, it felt like ages. We had treats we could give her. We were playing games, playing with toys, things like that. I'm just gonna shuffle closer, okay? And we were doing a lot of games, trying to see what little tricks and commands she knew, and me and Dan went to opposite sides of the room, and we were calling her over and being like, Kyra, come, and then she'd run over, and when she came up we'd give her a little treat and stuff, and it was just amazing. We were rolling around on the floor with her, just playing with toys. It was amazing, and I think we fell in love with her straight away, and we didn't even meet the other dog. As soon as the assistant came back, she was like, what do you think? And we were just like, we'll take her. We want her. Can we take her home, please? And yeah, she went off, spoke to some people, and she was like, when do you want to take her home? And we were like, as soon as possible. She's like, okay, well, let's go get you in with the vet, and you can take her home this afternoon. And we were like, what? Which was amazing. It was, sorry, baby. It was incredible how fast the rehoming process was at Battersea. Oh, baby, you okay, Licky? You okay? You warm? So basically, we went downstairs, we saw the vet and she had one last little checkup. We were told, her dates for fleeing and worming and stuff like that. We were told if she had any existing medical things, which she didn't. You're a pretty healthy girl, aren't you? Yes. And yeah, that was it. Then we went to fill out the paperwork and we could take her home. It was literally that quick and it was amazing. And then all of a sudden we were walking out of there and we were like, we've got a dog. We have a small thing now that's like in our care, and it was kind of amazing and exciting. It was great, wasn't it? Yes. Mwah. Mwah. Love you. So the rehoming fee for Kyra at Battersea was £135, which was actually really, really good value because it included, like I say, being checked over by the vet. Luckily she was already microchipped, but if she hadn't been, it would have covered that as well. So all her microchip information has been updated with our information now. It also covered a month of pet insurance, some food for her, and like a couple of other bits like that. And Battersea give you really good detailed information packs as well to help with like settling the dog in and giving you really good information for just, looking after them. So it was really, really good. For the first day or two, she was a little bit like agitated around the home and she didn't quite settle. She chewed through a lot of her toys quite quickly. Like quicker than she does now, and she had one toilet accident in the house, but mostly she just settled in really, really quickly, and now you absolutely love the place, don't you? Mwah, you sure do. Mwah, you sure do. She's very good at like knowing which door is ours on the corridor, so like we normally let her off the lead in the lift, and then when the lift doors open we're like, go on Kyra, and she'll like run around the corner and down the corridor and find your home. You sure do. Clever girl. She's very, very good at that. And she's settled into a very nice little routine now. She seems very happy, very content. Except on a few days like this when it's just too warm for her. Isn't it, baby? But we make these little like ice cubes for her out of beef stock and she absolutely loves them. She like chases them around the floor and it really helps cool her down. It's a nice little treat for her. So little things like that. But anyway, that's kind of the story of how we found Kyra and the adoption process and how crazy quick it was. And seriously, I cannot recommend Battersea enough because they were amazing. If you are looking to adopt a dog yourself, a few bits of advice I would give you are, for one, don't be afraid to keep looking around for dogs, visit different shelters and meet lots of different dogs. Don't just settle for the first one you find cute. It's really important that like your lifestyle and the dog's personality fit together because, be happier that way. And in the same vein, don't ever feel the need to like lie on your application either, because usually there will be a dog out there for you. You just have to find the right one. So if you're going to be out of the house for 10 hours a day, don't lie because you might... You're right, baby. If you are going to be out of the house for like 10 hours a day, don't lie about it on your application, because if you get a dog who needs someone there for them all the time, then your dog's just going to be anxious and upset all day. They might have accidents around the house, they might be upset about things, and it's just not going to be nice for you or the dog. So it's really important that you're honest to get the right dog for you, and if that means waiting a little bit longer, then it's worth it in the end, And the other thing is, I'd say that's a big benefit of adopting an adult dog as opposed to a puppy, is that the shelters are normally a little bit more aware of their personality, and their personalities are a little bit more developed, so you kind of know if they're going to fit in with you and your lifestyle or not. So for us, we were like, we quite like a nice sort of cuddly dog who, just kind of likes to chill out a bit and like sit and have a little belly rub, and that's exactly what Kyra is. And that's why I think she's settled in so quickly. You're right, baby. Should we get you down? You can go have a drink. There we go. She's getting really warm. You okay, baby? Go have a drink. Come on, go have a drink. It's so hot in here today. We've had the fan on all day, but when I'm recording, can't really have it on because it's noisy. So I think we're both a little hot, aren't we, girl? Yeah. The second bit of advice I'd say is don't expect things to be perfect straight away. There will be like an adjustment period and a settling in period when you first take your dog home. So there might be a few toilet accidents. Night times might be a little bit difficult until you get into a routine. It might be kind of tough until you find out what kind of personality your dog has, until you find out what commands your dog knows. Sometimes they might have been taught things like heel when you're out walking. Other times they might know things like come. Other times they might just know to answer to their name. So a lot of the time you have to work out what your dog knows and what they don't know and kind of adapt to that and maybe teach it a few new things as well. And also just because you've fallen in love with the dog immediately doesn't mean the dog's going to have fallen in love with you. So there might be some trust issues. There might be, some issues of them being a little bit unsure of you, not quite knowing you, not liking you straight away. So don't immediately expect your dog to kind of like be all over you and be crazy about you, because it takes time to build up that relationship and that trust. And I think we're getting there with Kyra. Okay, I think we're there with Kyra. She's a very loving dog anyway. She likes a lot of attention and she likes to be around people, so I think she gets attached quite easily, and she's a very like loyal dog. But I think maybe part of that is her personality, and part of it is because I work from home, so me and her spend a lot of time together. We basically spend like 23 hours a day together, so we've had a lot of time to bond in the last like month and a half, you know? But if you do work and you're out the house a lot, expect it to be a little bit slower with your dog, but it'll be worth it in the end. The third bit of advice I'd give is about food, and I'd say don't just expect them to eat whatever you put in front of them. Some dogs are picky eaters, some dogs have their preferences, some dogs might just be a little bit anxious around food, especially if they have come from a shelter. So Kyra definitely has her favourite foods and her favourite types of foods and snacks and things like that. And also, remember, not all dog food is created equal. Some will be better for your dog than others, and some are better for certain breeds than others. So a lot of the time, at the start, it's going to be a little bit of trial and error to see what's good for your dog and what your dog enjoys, and find a food that's like a happy medium. So with Kyra, again, to give examples, she was on pedigree dry food when she came from Battersea, and she absolutely hated it. She ate it the first night, but then the next morning she was like turning her nose up at the bowl. She was pulling at the bowl. She was kind of like trying to tip it over. She just wasn't having it. And you'd like maybe, you know, pick up a little bit of food to try and give it to her to force her to, well, not force her to eat, but like encourage her to eat. And she put it in her mouth, turn around and spit it out. She just did not like it. Also turns out pedigree is one of the worst foods you can give a dog. It's just not very good for them at all. And it was also giving her a really upset tummy. So her bottom was quite smelly, and every time she went to the toilet it was very runny, which was not nice to clean up. So literally on that second day I had to go out and find some kind of dog food nearby which she would eat. So I ended up getting 2 kinds of food for her to try in small bags, because we were quite limited in what was nearby locally. But I got her turkey flavoured Harrison's food, which was rated quite well for being good for dogs. And I got her an Asda own brand beef food, which wasn't rated that well for being like good for dogs. The Harrison's food, she ate a little bit of for a few days, but mostly she just did not like it at all. And again, she started refusing to eat it, and she was just like, no thank you. And the Asda own brand food, she did really, really like. It was beef flavoured, which we found is like her favourite flavour of snack and food. So she loved the Asda food, but it was really bad for her, and again, it was upsetting her tummy. And the Harrison's food, when she did eat it, her tummy was absolutely fine, but as soon as she was on the Asda one, it was all like smelly and liquidy again, which was unpleasant. So it was getting difficult, and obviously we didn't want to switch up her food too much because changing too often can upset the tummy on its own as well. So we were like, okay, last resort, let's try a third or fourth kind of food. So we went to the big local Wilco's, which is quite big, thankfully, and they have a huge pet food area, and we found this food called Perfect Fit, which apparently is like pretty good for dogs, and it offers like a lot of nutrition, which was great. And it's chicken flavoured, so we were like, okay, let's try this for her. And now she absolutely loves it. She eats it up every day. Her tummy's really settled. She's very regular going to the toilet. She's not smelly at all, which is nice. So she seems happy and content, and we're happy to keep her on this for the foreseeable future. So like I say, it's a little bit tricky at first, but worth it once it was all settled down and calm. The other big thing was when we got Kyra, she was a very, very fast eater. So you put food in front of her and she would gobble it up so fast she'd usually make herself choke. So it's really important that you give the dog a really nice, calm, quiet place to eat food, and you help them build up their trust and help them realise that no one is going to take their food from them. I'm not sure if it's because she was an ex-show dog, so she was used to having other dogs around who might come and steal her food, then being in Battersea as well, maybe there were other dogs around who would take her food as well. So I think that was why she ate so quickly. Now she's realised that no one's going to take her food, it's hers, she can eat it in her own time. She's a lot calmer when she's eating, she eats a lot more slower, and now she rarely chokes herself. The fourth and last bit of advice I would give you for adopting a rescue dog is to remember that you're not going to find a flawless dog, but that's okay. Each dog is going to have some kind of like problem or issue or imperfection. You just need to find the dog whose imperfections you love or that you can help them work through. Being from a shelter, some dogs might have some issues. Some might have anxiety issues, some might have trust issues, some might have health problems, some might have issues with shedding, some might have tummy issues, who knows? But more often than not, they're issues that you can help them work through and help them get to a really happy, healthy place in their life, and it's definitely worth it to get there with whatever dog you get. That said, don't be afraid to ask for help with any problems. Battersea in particular, like I say, give us loads and loads of really good advice and information in our adoption pack, which really helped us with settling Kyra in. You can also go speak to a vet about it. You can hire trainers or take them to training classes, and there's lots and lots of things you can do to help your dog settle in and help them work through different problems that they have. As long as you're willing to put the time and effort in, you can end up with a really happy, well-trained dog who's really settled and really content. A well-trained dog leads to a much happier life. We're very lucky with Kyra that when we first got her, we spent she was already very well trained, but we spent a lot of time in the first few days, first few weeks, building up trust with her, and we got a big extender lead, so we'd let her run off, sort of to full extension on the lead. Then we'd call her back, and when she came back immediately, we'd give her a little treat and lots of fuss and attention, and we were just making sure that she trusted us and she knew to come back to us and stuff like that. And now we're at a point, a month and a half in, where we are more than happy to take her to the park and let her off the lead and let her run around, and we know that she'll come back as soon as we call her. We know that she listens to all our commands immediately. So there have been a few times where she's gone to pick up food off the ground that could be dangerous, like a bit of chocolate or like a chicken bone or something, and there have been a couple of close calls where she's put it in her mouth and we've immediately gone, Kyra, give, and she drops it immediately. So it's building up that trust and that obedience and that loyalty that's really important. There are things as well where, again, it's the loyalty thing. So at the park, she loves playing fetch, and we'll throw the ball for her and she'll immediately run back to us, even without us calling her, she'll come straight back to us, and she will give up the ball straight away to me or Dan. All we have to do is just say give and she drops it, but she won't do it for anyone else. She'll only give the ball to me or Dan. Anyone else, and she's just nah mate, nah. So having that trust and knowing that she is well trained like that is really nice, because it leads to a lot more kind of fun and relaxed time at the park, and it means that sometimes me and Dan can just sit there and have a little relax and just watch her playing by herself, and know that if anything does go wrong or anything looks dangerous, we can just call her over and she'll come back straight away and we can just put her on the lead. So like I say, it leads to a much happier time for everyone, including little Kyra. So yeah, I guess they're the kind of main bits of advice I would give for now. There's so much more I could talk about. There's a million things I could talk about and examples I can give, but I don't want this to go on too long. And I guess for now, what I will say is that adopting Kyra has been the most wonderful, rewarding experience in the world. I recommend everyone who has, the time and the money and the ability or just the want to adopt a dog. I recommend it to anyone who wants it. It's been so perfect, and I know we've got lucky with Kyra because she's such a perfect fit for our family. I don't believe this is a 1 in a million thing. I think most people who adopt dogs are going to be so happy with it because it is just, it's an amazing experience. And there have been little challenging moments, there have been little worrying moments, there have been a few little frustrating moments, but ultimately it's something that I really recommend for everyone, and I just think with Kyra, we couldn't ask for a more perfect dog. But anyway, I'm going to leave you with these cute little images of Kyra now to end this video on, and just say thank you so much for watching this today. If you've adopted a dog, let me know what the experience was like for you and any advice you give to new dog owners, especially people who adopted dogs. And for now, thank you for watching. I'll see you again soon. Thanks so much for watching today. If you enjoyed this, you can check out more from me at the Here and How podcast, a weekly science podcast I host with Rationality Rules and Holy Kool-Aid. In the meantime, you should know I have merch available now, and it's awesome if you want to go check it out. But for now, a huge thank you goes out to everyone supporting me on Patreon this month. You guys are awesome! Seriously, a huge thank you especially goes to Gambit and his Chauffeur, Deshauwn, Mark Dauner, Eric Reed, Christian Berg, Rachel B. Royer, Jadeon Sheppard, Jaylee Moore, Religion is BS, Sir Michael Moore, Matthew Meinema, Tate D, Gibbs, Greg Ladd, and Pizelated Skeptic. Plus, check out everyone else who is mentioned here on this end screen and down in the description below. I love you guys so much.